Let's talk about transnational crime. Transnational crime. Yeah, sometimes they call them transnational organized crime. They are two different things entirely, and we should be interested in them now. In fact, it will shock you, or maybe it will not shock people in the military, that these guys are actually active, extremely active in Nigeria and in West Africa. You know, I was shocked when I found out that Guinea-Bissau, West Africa, a poor country nominally, is a cocaine trafficking hub in West Africa. Guinea-Bissau. Cocaine goes through that country to Europe and America. South America is below America. We now cross water, Atlantic Ocean, into West Africa. We package, they carry them again across that water. I said, not by individual. Again, I said transnational crime, transnational organization. Two things: transnational crime, transnational organized criminals. So, in other words, transnational organizations are the one carrying out transnational crime. So, if you say it's transnational, that means it has crossed the international boundary. If you say it's international, it has crossed. I said you have transnational crime. I will explain. Then you now have the people carrying it out, the participant, transnational organized criminals. You know, they're like the Italian mafia. And like I said, it will shock you to find out that they exist in Nigeria, they exist in South Africa, in West Africa. Even in Africa, in the whole of Africa, they have 6 clusters. I will still explain. So, transnational crime are illegal or illicit activity carried out across international boundaries. Illicit, that is the operative word. Illicit or illegal activity carried out across international boundaries. Say transnational crime and say illicit activities, or if you like again to define it, illicit economic activity, because the primary motive is money. Now, economic activity carried out across international boundaries. That means it has left the shores of your state. They just want them. States. Now, organized criminals are the one who carry out these illicit activities. So organized criminals are the ones. So that is not any random individual. They have network. You know, like an organization, they have highly developed network with general, with MD, with financial security officer. They have network. So transnational organized crimes, organized criminals carry out transnational crime. And the primary motive, listen, and it's key, the primary motive for transnational criminality is profit, money, not ideology. In fact, it is shocking to find out that Boko Haram are transnational criminals. They carry out transnational economic activity, not because of the but to fund their exactly. That's why I say we call it terrorism financing. And that's why you see Boko Haram sometimes kidnapping. What is kidnapping got to do with terrorism? Or cattle rustling, broken to farm, stealing bag of gari, hostage, ransom. And they need that money, criminality, to fund their activity. So I said you have transnational crime. What are examples of this transnational crime? Human trafficking, for one. So human trafficking, the one we are all aware of. Drug trafficking. Drug trafficking. Car trafficking. Still a car in Nigeria, then they are now auctioning it in timber trafficking. Again, are crimes that are for illicit activities, illicit or illegal activities that are carried out across international boundaries. International boundaries. Yes, by, if you like, non-state, those state actors do say, but they're by non-state actors. They are usually non-state actors. When you hear of mafia, mafias are non-state actors. Like I said now, we used to have them. The headquarters used to be in South America. Colombia, Mexico, cartel. When you have cartel, they have terrible names, dangerous names. The one that one of the longest One of those, yes, that has been in existence for years. No, FARC, revolutionaries, FARC, that's what they call it. I mean, those ones can challenge states. In fact, they are the first non-state actor that I know. Even Boko Haram, they don't have that capability till today, or Islamic or Al-Qaeda. First non-state actors to have their own submarines. Submarine, not ship. No, submarine. They have submarine that some states don't even have. To carry their drugs from one location to the other. So those are original transnational criminals, not the ones that are crossing border. As in, they have submarine. The drone is normal. They have drone. That one is no big deal. So they have submarine that can carry drugs from one region of the world into the other. So it's a whole new level entirely. And they have sophisticated weapons that some state government don't even have. In some parts of Mexico and Colombia, there are no go areas to the states. The power of the transnational criminals are that strong, that power. They are all over the world. And they have network. The same way you have alumni association, is the same way they have their own thing. Look at what I said about cocaine being Guinea. Guinea is a poor country. Very poor. So what those people do is they corrupt the government the more. It is when there is corruption that they can thrive. Yes. If a state is not corrupt, it will be difficult for them. The first thing they do is they look for your weakness. Any state that they want to target, it can be the president, it can be the attorney general. They buy you off. They look for your weakness. Once you've been bought off, you're in their pocket. Then you don't have an unwritten agreement. I'll bring in this, you look the other way. So that way will go. And when it goes, you collect your 10%. That is how they are destroying Africa. That was, he said, Guinea-Bissau was one of the poorest. But you see the elite swimming in money. And I use the word that Guinea-Bissau is the cocaine hub. Cocaine, they don't produce it, but it's a hub in West Africa. That they now use that area to send that thing to the different parts of the world, especially to Europe and to America. So we've dealt with the definition of that transnational crime. Illicit. That is the key. Illegal, under the radar. Then who carries it out? Non-state actors, or we call them transnational organized criminals. So like I said, they are like the mafia. And see, this is where it gets interesting. Each region in Africa has been divided by this criminal. Each region is known for its own illicit commodity. Are you listening now?
Yes, sir.
Sex trafficking is now our own. They don't really make money in sex trafficking. They've reserved their drug trafficking for Africa. Africa is for drug. Africa is drug trafficking. That's why you tend to see lots of drug traffickers coming up. But then you hardly ever hear of that in East Africa. East Africa is wildlife trafficking. And so each region of Africa, see, I said they have a network. Each region of Africa. I don't know why they are now suddenly interested in this our pangolins and donkey. Usually they go to South Africa for such things because of the diverse wildlife that they have there in that region as it is. The country that is known for dealing with stolen vehicles, cash, and the rest of it is not Africa. Morocco, although our own is small compared to that's where they do that. It is those countries are closer to Europe now. Have you forgotten? Steal from Spain, bring to North Africa, change the color, change the chassis, then sell to other West African states or East African states. So it's Morocco. I said each region is known for its own aspect of criminality. The same way you have usual organizations, the same way they have the same kind of organization in each and every of all these region. They are so compartmentalized. That is, if you pick one person, that does not mean you've destroyed the organization. No, they have a cell. Each of them have a cell structure. So picking one leader here does not mean the whole cell structure. You remember the East? That was why the British found it difficult colonizing them. Unlike the Yorubas and the North now, and the Hausas, we have a unified head. Is either the Oba or the Emir. It's the one that controls everybody, whatever you see. But the East now, they have different chiefs. Easy. So picking Eze of Igbo does not mean you've taken that of Anap. No, they are different. That is how these transnational criminal groups operate. Two. Exactly. So destroying one cell does not mean that you no. They always shift the resources to the one that has not been affected as it is. And that's why they've been able to try 6 clusters, or rather 6 types that you have in Africa of these criminal groups. So there are 6 clusters or 6 types that we have in Africa. We have the common one, the common criminal group. Those ones, anything that comes, we will sell it. Anything you bring at all. You have a card on your head, you have a shoe, anything. You just make quick money. You have the common one, and Boko Haram falls into that category. Erroneously, people think that Boko Haram are just terrorists. No, they are businessmen. Exactly. If they are just terrorists, why are they doing that thing called cattle rustling? When you lost 2 cattle, you are not getting the cattle to use it for Ramadan. You are stealing that to sell, to turn a profit. So cattle, kidnapping. And that's why it's a criminal activity. It's not a terrorist activity. When you kidnap and you hold hostage, it's a criminal activity. So when you kidnap, now they now negotiate for money. So common criminality. Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, ISWAP, they are all organized criminal group. When they have enough money, they can now switch to their jihad. That they want to turn the thing to. So they need money for the activity to thrive. So that's why a terrorist combines everything. It's 2 in 1. It's both a criminal and a terrorist at the same time. Yes. So when he uses criminality to get money, he cannot go back to being a head. You must believe in this thing I believe in, or you die. So I said you have the common one. You have the hierarchical. Hierarchy. You have a chain of command. It's unbelievable. They're actually that organized. As I said, hierarchical. So you have a change. You have a general manager. You have assistant deputy manager down chief security, chief finance officer, down to the basic. Then area manager, area this, local government area chairman. They are the hierarchical. And you tend to get this again, more of this in the north, yes, sir. Not in our own in the west side. So why do they try? Why? What are the factors responsible for their survival and sustenance? Why has they been very, very difficult to eradicate? We know them. For us to analyze them, that means we are aware of their existence. Maybe we said it now: drug trafficking, human trafficking, and all those. We'll be naming them. So we even gave me some names too. It's always said environmental trafficking. If we know them, why has it been difficult for almighty America to eradicate? Drug is one of the greatest killers in America today. Drug kills more than any sicknesses or diseases in America. If adrenaline is still killing them more than COVID-19. Fentanyl is one of the most dangerous, even harder than cocaine. That thing that is killing them, especially when you now mix it with urine, or what did they call it now? That thing becomes potent. Once they take it, the thing knocks them out. There are factors responsible for this. One, and it will shock you. Number 1 factor: corruption. No. So that's the number 1 guy. Corruption has no aggression. Corruption is not a Nigerian thing. Contrary to what people will say now, the difference is this, and I've been saying this, and I'll keep repeating it, is how we handle corruption that matter. No, our Chinese are corrupt too. Americans are corrupt.
High class corruption.
But the point is, when you are caught, they make sure they deal with you. It's only your pants or your body that you have left. Yes. That is, you come back from jail. It's only there's this guy they call Bernard Madoff. He used to be one of the wealthiest, the richest person in America. Everybody wants to shake his hand, including president. The richest too, very exclusive guy. You beg the man to manage your money for you. He was that powerful. Only for them to now discover later that the man was at what we call advanced 419. It was robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's your money that will be using to flex. And it's your money you will still be giving to others to tell them that it's investing their money. America, United States of America, when they wanted to jail him, they jailed him for more than 80 years. They were angry that you did this thing to us. They sold everything he had, down to his, they sold everything. And they were not using that thing to pay back to those people he robbed. And when he was in prison, he was working. So they were collecting his salary, all those small things he was doing. But of course, he died now. Now, my point is, even if he had survived, he knew that he's coming back to zero. I say, how you handle corruption, not the. In China now, it's a bulletary country. They have that corruption. Yes. How you deal with the corruption is what matters. Exactly. So if I'm corrupt and I steal 1 billion, and they give me 3 years, and I know I'll come back to my money, 3 years will be like vacation. What's there? I'll do the thing now. When I'm coming now, even buy a show, you people come and welcome me back home. I will continue. See, it's not only Nigeria. Again, I will emphasize, it's not only Nigeria. That of South America is worse. In fact, the defense chief, what we call the equivalent of chief of defense staff in Nigeria, that of Rescue was jailed in America for corruption, for criminality, transnational criminality. A whole chief of defense was jailed. Then I think it's the president of El Salvador that they are targeting, that Honduras or so, that is going to jail for carrying out drug trafficking. So don't think it's just it's just a Nigerian thing. I said how we manage corruption is our problem. Not that the corruption is so no. That is not true. Porous border. Porous border. Seme Road is just the official one. But there are different ways into Nigeria. Apart from the normal one that we go to show our passports, the officials of the there are different ways into Nigeria. Thank you, sir. When Buhari said he closed down the border, we were smiling. People who stayed in that area, they can confirm what was going on. That's not bad that they said they closed that border. I mean, these guys are human. They cannot stretch their hand and hold their hand all across that, the whole of it's not possible. Then if you think of Benin, then go to up the J. You are not even Chad. You forgot him. You forgot him. We have that Cameroon. So imagine. So are you not saying every Nigerian will hold hands across around Nigeria to stop these guys there? So porous border, poorly manned border, which is not their fault. America, as powerful as they are, immigration is one of their problems. Trump has built a wall. He has tried everything to stop people from entering into his country. So that is a sophisticated country, an advanced country. Now think of third world countries. That is what transnational criminal exploits. Porous border. Can I continue? Yes. Just say you are in door A. They know that you don't have enough people to man B, C, D. So they go to E. But you are in A. Nothing is coming through A, really. People can see nothing is coming. But that contraband rice is already... Weak institutions. Weak institutions. In fact, so again, before you start thinking it's just a Nigerian thing, when Trump became president now, he has almost sacked more than half of all the civil service in America. He has sacked them. That man, I don't even understand that term. He said they are not efficient and they are not effective. That they are the ones who are allowing illegal immigrants to come into his country. Again, that's a developed country. Now think of third world countries as it is. So we have weak institutions. They said what we need in Africa are not strong individuals, but strong institutions. So that when the individual dies, at least the institution is actually there to continue. But I disagree. We need strong leaders. And I'm not institutional. For our present state of existence in Africa, we need strong leaders. When they killed Gaddafi, look at the problem they're now facing in Libya, and by extension, we are facing in Nigeria. He was a dictator. He was he provided political stability, which translates to security. Sometimes this is not always the best. That man provided that thing called stability, and the rest of it for Africa. They are even saying they are not killed the Kwame Nkrumah. All those are Traore, all those are leaders then. Africa would have been, they were eliminated by America, in case you are not aware. That they were too strong, their policies were too strong. That can you talk of elevating your country to a first world status? Rather for you to be subservient. As it is. When Obasanjo built EFCC, we were happy. But then again, we perverted it. There's a way we built and we destroyed. Again, after they hear it, that they only use that to chase the enemy of the presidency. And when you do that, people will lose confidence. You know, that's why they are warning everybody to, you should be careful. And those ones are already shouting, and they can put him in jail anytime. They can do anything. Once you are the judge identify you, then they will dust your file and remember you've done something 20 years ago. And that is those are weak institutions. And transnational criminal groups know them, so they identify them now, and they pervert that. Say, American democracy would have been destroyed when Trump came then. It was the institution that saved it. When they had that, they stormed the Capitol. If you remember then now, during this first all the Congress, they disappeared. He took the one that took window, the one that hid under the bed. Every one of them disappeared. But it was the institution. There is a ready market. There is a demand for illicit goods. Demand is demand driven. There is always a demand for illicit goods. They took an audit of armory within the Nigerian police. That was last week. And they said they could not account for 3,900 and something. They said they could not account for. They said they could not account for the whereabouts. So in my mind, I'm already thinking 3,900 people now have a 47 somewhere. See, you are right. See, for every smuggler you caught, 20 must have escaped. That is what they counted. Are you getting it now? And that is what they could not actually account for. And they can never account for those ones now because there is a demand outside for such things. As long as you have a demand, and that is why illegal things can never be banned. It is the demand that drives that thing. So as long as there is a demand for it, which is where Trump is wrong, you always get the supply. So your demand now is what will fuel that transnational criminality. That is why it is a business that can never go out.